Hi everyone, welcome to It's Canon, a series of reviews where we take a look at Bionicle models that are either fan-made or never got an official set release. Today we're going to take a look at the Phase Dragon, originally designed in 2004 by David Dott for the Rahi Building Challenge, where it was declared one of the winners and became canonized within the Bionicle story. Before we get into the review, quick disclaimer. Any or all of these Canon models are open to inaccuracies. I try my best to build these as accurate to the source pictures as possible. If you want to build this model, instructions will be linked in the description below. So without any further ado, on to the review. The Phase Dragon is a rahi created by the Makuta using viruses and liquid protodermis, where it makes its residence in Metru Nui. Here the rahi has become infamous for chasing after anything that moves at high speeds, which in Metru Nui means it spends the majority of its time in Li Metru at the test track, chasing the vehicles that are being currently tested. Now, even though these creatures look quite dangerous, they're actually very friendly, minding their own business until they find something to chase. And even when they are chasing something, it's more often just for their own enjoyment. The Phase Dragon is also known for its ability to become completely intangible, entering a ghost-like state. This is quite useful for these creatures, as they sometimes have the habit of flying too fast and crashing into objects, such as on the test track. Lastly, the Phase Dragon made its debut appearance within the Rahi Beasts book, where Norik describes how the creature has become a genuine threat after Metru Nui was evacuated by the Toa Metru, chasing after anything that moves just to get some form of entertainment, often causing harm to their surroundings, their target, or even themselves. Taking a look at the model, the Phase Dragon is a medium-sized rahi build. Starting at the head, the top half is constructed around a Rakshi foot, a bunch of connectors, and a number of Borak teeth. Interestingly, the foot is actually not connected to anything. Rather, everything weaves around the foot itself, and everything is held together via this rubber band. On the lower jaw, there's a few connectors and a white Onua claw, and the head is decorated with a few Kanoi Miru Nuvas on the cheeks. In the mouth, there is a flame assembly, which makes the model look like it's breathing fire. The front legs are very long and spindly, being made of a few mata legs and connectors. The front claws are a simple yet odd looking assembly, which uses a few lift arms, a number of connectors, and some more Borak teeth. And the front two claws are held in place by rubber bands. Moving to the torso, it is a fairly simple build made of a number of mata torsos which have been rotated to the side, a Rakshi backplate, and some Borak ribcage torsos, and a 2004 Matoran torso on the underbelly. At the lower torso you have the segment which attaches the wings, and there are a handful of dark orange lift arms, air katanas, and connectors. Moving down to the back legs, they are just a Nuva limb with a connector and a white Onua claw attached. And finally at the back you have the tail, which is just a number of Borak limbs, connectors, and a Rakshi foot at the end. Alright, articulation wise, the Phase Dragon is a little weird. So, bringing you in nice and close and focusing. So, you have a ball joint here at the head, which allows you to adjust the top of the head and allow you to get that biting motion. And it can swivel, hinge, all that good stuff. It can go back that far, down that far. You can rotate it all around. It really looks weird then, but you get full articulation. It does look weird with the lower jaw, but you get the point. So there's that, and then you have a pin down here, right there. So the whole lower section of the body can swivel like so. So that's a little weird, but it does work, and you can have him breathing fire, close his mouth, all that good stuff. If you want to lock this in any way, you kind of have to bring down the upper jaw over the flame piece, and that will somewhat lock the head, which I think works. And then for the legs, you have a ball joint here here, here, and here, so you get all kinds of crazy motion. Like, you really don't have any hindrance whatsoever. It is very well articulated, and sometimes you can knock those off. So yeah, there's that, but you get four ball joints in the leg, which allows you lots of articulation, rotation, all that good stuff, hinging, you know, standard ball joint stuff. Then at the claw here, again, allow me to focus, you have a little bit of a hinge right here because of how the thumb is attached by an axle. And then the top two claws here are attached via an elastic, or they are attached by a pin, and they also have an elastic attached to them to keep them held back, but you can hinge them down and they will spring back. So yeah, and the front two legs are exactly the same, and that came unpinned, so yeah, that's an issue. And just get it back in there. There we go. So yeah, then you have nothing at the back of the torso, you have nothing at the wings, everything here is locked. You can adjust this Mata torso a little bit just because of how it's built, but it really doesn't do anything for you. The back legs are pretty simple. They're just a Nuva leg, so you get forward, back, full rotation, out that much, in that much. It's really nothing crazy. And then the claws on a standard ball joint, so you get your rotation, hinge forward that far, back that far, and your tilt. All standard ball joint stuff. And then the tail is made of a number of these bow rock limb pieces, and they're all locked together by axles. So the tail can only hinge upward, and it can hinge up and all the way forward that much, and under that much. And you get, it basically acts as a hinged ball joint because of the two ball joints. So you get a hinge, one hinge there, hinge there, hinge there, and hinge there. So that's 4 hinged ball joints. So you do get a good range of motion for the tail. Granted, it can only go one direction. You can't swing it side to side. Yeah, so that is the articulation for the Phase Dragon. And I have to say, it's odd, but good. Alright, issues with this model. First off, the torso is a little too loosely built. See, it's put together with a single pin axle without any friction ridges. And it's used to connect the lower part of the front torso and the back of the torso together. And if you start messing with it, it will start to come apart as there's no friction. Second issue is the top of the head is very weirdly built, as the build opts to weave around the footpiece rather than truly connect to it, leaving the head feeling very loose and unstable. It also doesn't help that the eyes are only held on by the rubber band that holds the head together. So if you move the eyes in the wrong way, they will fall out. Thirdly, the model has a hard time standing up. This is because of all the ball joints within the front legs. So more often than not, you have to precariously position the build so it will stay standing. Fourthly, this model has lime joints, and we all know how that goes. Lastly, the articulation on this model is all over the place. At some points it has great articulation and it's really expressive, where other sections are just completely locked or limited and just leave something to be desired. So I do think the articulation on this model could have been fine-tuned a little more. Now, if you want to build this model for yourself, some of the more noteworthy parts that may be harder to find or more expensive are the medium brown Matoran torso. This originally came out in 2004, and from my experience, it's usually just hard to find. The dark orange lift arms. Now there are actually 3 different lift arms I'm referring to here: the 1x2, the 3x3, and the 3x5. All of these are very difficult to get a hold of because they only appeared within one set. That said though, they're not usually that expensive. The dark orange air katanas, again, these are hard to find because of the single set that they appeared in. But again, they're not usually too expensive. Alright, size-wise, the phase dragon comes in at approximately, from the tip of the tail to the snout, it's approximately 37 centimeters or 14.5 inches. And then from the tip of the tail to the end of the flame, it's about 41 centimeters or 16 inches. Height-wise, the phase dragon comes in at approximately 14 centimeters or 5.5 inches. Size-wise, here it is next to a Mata, right there, move up a bit, a Metru, and an Anika. And here's the phase dragon next to the Tatarok. Yeah, right there, nice. Here it is next to a standard 2004 Matoran. And my previous It's Canon video, yes, I made a review of this, the Acid Fly. So yeah, so there you have the phase dragon. A pretty good model. Do I recommend it? Yes. Even with the issues that I stated earlier, this thing is really solid. It's a good coherent design that holds up quite well. I've also found that this model has a certain charm to it. It's just so wacky and out there that it's fun. I've really enjoyed messing around with this model. Another big perk is that it is considerably inexpensive. Even with the parts that make up the wings being rather difficult to get a hold of, the rest of the model is really easy to buy parts for, making this a fun, enjoyable model that you can build rather quickly. And there you have the phase dragon. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date with all my latest videos. And with that, I'm Legend, and I will see you all next time.